As I approach my 30s, I have to start thinking a lot more about retirement, aka I am getting old. I guess this video isn't specifically about preparing for retirement, it's just my general approach to building wealth over the long run. I've been doing this ever since I started working, so I thought today I'll just share it with you guys. So let's get through it. So the approach that I take, it's called go big, then stop. This is actually something that I learned about a lot when I was just starting out my career, when I was exploring personal finances, but it was mainly inspired by this blog post written by a guy named Nick, and his blog post is called Off Dollars and Data. He actually writes really cool stuff. If you guys want, you can check it out. I'll leave the link down in the description below. So as the name implies, this strategy is actually pretty straightforward. What we want to do is we want to save and invest as aggressively as possible when we are younger. So when we're in our 20s, maybe even early 30s, we want to go as hard as we can when it comes to investing so we can chill out a bit later in life. And the reason that this strategy works is because of the magic of compounding. So I don't think that this approach is suitable for everyone. Maybe some people might not like it because there are some sacrifices that we have to make. I'll talk about that later. But I really think that if you do take this approach, you are setting up your finances really nicely so that when we hit our older ages, let's say our late 40s, 50s, by the time we retire, our finances will be put on easy mode. But of course, it's not easy. Like I said, it's not meant for everyone. It's just really easy to say, right? Save and invest as much as you can when you're young. But a lot of people are like, where am I even going to get that money? I don't even have enough money to save right now. So how am I going to invest my money and take this approach? So I'll share with you guys some of my tips and tricks or some things I'm doing right now later on in this video. But first, why does it work? So let me show you guys some examples, some illustrations of how this works, the power of compounding and how it basically makes this entire strategy. Let's say there's two people, me and my friend Ali. So we're both 25 right now and we both want to retire at 55 years old. So we have 30 years until retirement. So to prepare for retirement, because we're financially responsible, we want to invest 10,000 ringgit per year and we'll do this up until we hit retirement age. The only difference between me and Ali is that I start doing this right when I'm 25, whereas he only wants to start doing it at 35. So who ends up having more money at 55 years old? This one is obvious. Obviously, I'm going to have more money just because I started earlier. I've saved and invested for 30 years, whereas Ali has only been doing it for 20 years. But the difference is pretty big. So for me, I will end up with 940,000 ringgit around there, whereas Ali will only have 410,000 ringgit. So I will have more than double his amount. Now, I want to show you guys an even crazier example to basically explain how this strategy or approach works. Let's say this time now, I still want to contribute 10,000 ringgit per year and I still want to start at 25 years old, but I will stop at 35. After 35, I don't want to invest any more money. On the other hand, Ali, he has his same plan. He will start at 35 years old and go 10,000 ringgit per year all the way until 55. So in total, I've only invested for 10 years, which is 100,000 ringgit, whereas Ali, he's saving and investing for 20 years, which is 200,000 ringgit that he's saved up. The difference is that I start earlier, he starts later. The end result, I still end up with more money than him by the time we hit 55 years old, even though I've invested less money in total. This is the true power of compounding, and this is why it's so important for us to start early. And this basically explains why this strategy of go big then stop works. So all of that sounds good. I want to invest my money early. I want to do all of this, but how am I going to get that extra money to invest? Like I said, in theory, everything is super simple, but in reality, this is the tough part. So to me, there are two aspects to this. So the first part is my income. So I've said this multiple times, but in personal finance, in my opinion at least, the most crucial aspect is actually how much money you make. I talked about saving, budgeting, investing, managing your debt, all those stuff. But the most important part is how much money you make. There is a cap, there's a limit to how much money you can save, but there's really no limit to how much money you will earn. I really do believe this, and I was even thinking about making a whole YouTube video talking about this. Maybe I might in the future. So how do I plan to boost my income? So first of all, I want to say that I am pretty lucky in a sense that I started off with a pretty good salary. So I started off with 4,000 ringgit a month and I got some pretty nice promotions. I changed jobs once and I got basically a pretty good salary in the Malaysian standard for people of my age. But right now, I'm not actually employed by any company. I'm running my own business, and this is something that I decided to do to try and boost my income as well. So this part here, I quit my job basically last September to do content full-time as well as trading. I knew that it was a risky move. I could end up with nothing. I could even end up, losing money. But I knew that if everything went well, if I executed things well, I would earn more of an income, and that was a driving force behind it. But I know that this isn't the normal approach. I'm not going to tell all of you, the solution to this is quit your job and go start your own business because you can make more money from that. You could, but I know that not many people are willing to do that. So let me tell you guys what I would do if I was still employed. These are actually things that I used to do back when I had a job and I was trying to grind my way up to have a higher income. First, your main income source. So this one, I have to say that the most important thing to have a good income in a salaried job is for you to be in the right industry, in the right role. So for example, in the last 10 years, anyone who has been working in the tech space, if you're a developer, if you're a product manager, cybersecurity, all those stuff, you would have gotten paid pretty well. The thing is, your industry really matters because your industry must do well, your company must do well for them to keep paying you more. And then the role that you're in, if you're in a very high demand skilled job, then you will get, of course, paid nicely. But I know that not everyone can work in tech, not everyone can be a software developer. There are many other jobs out there as well, and you can earn a lot of money from other jobs as well. But two things that you want to do is that you want to go above and beyond at work. You want to do things outside of your job scope, not be afraid to volunteer to do things, and you also want to always be ready for change. These are things that I did at my job previously, and it helped me get, I think, 2 promotions in my first 3 years working. The next thing you'll want is a side income. So if you have the time, then you really want to look at having a side business that can give you a bit of extra money. I know people who are doing so many different things out there to make money. I know there's people doing digital marketing, people who have a Shopee store, or even people like myself who on a part-time basis create content. In fact, when I started out this YouTube channel as well as my Instagram and TikTok, I did it back when I had a job as well. So doing these things, it will really help you supplement your income. Once you combine your side income and your main income, then your total compensation will start to look a lot bigger. So in my opinion, at least, if you're trying to earn an extra 1,000, 2,000 ringgit a month, it's a lot easier for you to do it by starting a business or doing some freelance work and stuff like that, rather than trying to get it from your main job. Because main job, there's like promotion cycles, it depends on how well your company does, all those other stuff. So yeah, you want to still do well at your main job, try to get promotions, change companies if you have to, stuff like that. But at the same time, you also want to have a side job to give you supplemental income. So I know that some of you guys might be thinking, how about work-life balance? If I have a main job that I work really hard at and I have a side job as well that I do on my free time, won't you be overworked and you don't have time to enjoy life? Well, I guess that's kind of true. The reality is you can't have everything nice in life. You will have to make some sacrifices to basically get what you want. So I wouldn't go to the extreme where, I work every single minute of the day and then, if I have kids, I abandon my kids and my family just because I need to continue working and earning more money. I wouldn't go to that extreme, but I would say that, if you do want to achieve like big things, if you do want to make more money, then you will have to make some sacrifices in life. So even back then when I had a job and I had this YouTube channel, I was working, after my full-time 9 to 6 job, I guess. I used to do work at night and I used to do work on weekends as well. So the second part to this is, of course, saving. Yes, making money is the most important part. You need that. But if you're just going to spend all your extra money, then there's no point to it, right? So what I do is I try to be extremely disciplined with my money. I try not to let lifestyle inflation creep into me, even though sometimes it has done before. As you guys saw in the examples that I shared before this, saving extra money at this age, when you're in your early 20s especially, or even your early 30s, it will make a huge difference to how much money we have in retirement. Saving 1,000 ringgit extra a month, every single month, right now in our 20s, it will be much, much more important than saving an extra 1,000 ringgit when we're in our 40s. By the way, just to make it clear, all of this money that I'm talking about saving, it should actually be invested. So there's no point, making all the extra money and then saving it only to keep it under a pillow or keep it in a bank account that's paying us nothing. We should aim to get at least around 6 to 10% a year. That's the only way that this strategy will work. If we are not earning money on our money, then this strategy will not work. It doesn't matter whether you save now or in 30 years' time. I have a lot of videos talking about investing, so I won't go through it in too much detail in this video. If you are a complete beginner to investing, if you have no idea what to do, then I also have a video for you. I'll leave the link down in the description below. Anyway, I would say that a good saving rate is anywhere between 10 to 20% of your monthly income. So if you earn 4,000 ringgit a month, if you can save 400 to 800 ringgit every single month on top of EPF, then you're doing really, really well. And then back in the days as well, I remember whenever I got my annual bonus, I used to try and save and invest a big portion of that as well, just so, I can sort of boost my investment portfolio. I remember back then getting my first bonus, I was so excited to invest it into the stock market, but that's just me. Maybe, I have no life and I'm just a personal finance nerd. With my income, I could have had a lot of the nicer things in life. I could have bought a better car. I could have bought, designer clothes, stuff like that. But like with the income part, with all the things that we want in life, we have to make some sacrifices. We have to try and save as much money as we can for this strategy to work. I guess the good thing is I'm not really a huge fan of all these like designer stuff. I don't really buy things that are too expensive other than my tech gadgets. I just love them. Speaking of that, it brings me to the final part of this video, which is basically how do you balance between enjoying life now and also saving as aggressively as you can for the future. So this part is actually the toughest part, in my opinion at least, of this entire strategy. This is something that I've been thinking about as well, and to be honest, to this day, I still don't know how to find that perfect balance. You're only young once, and there's no point having, so much money, having millions in your bank and investment accounts in your 40s and 50s, but then, you have nothing to spend it on, or even worse, you don't have people to enjoy this money with. The truth is, it will really depend on you. There is no perfect answer to this. The only answer that I can give is that you have to find the balance that works for you. For example, now I really enjoy the things that I do for work, so even though it is a lot of hard work, I still enjoy it, which makes things not so bad, I guess. Would I still do this if I really hated my job, if I felt miserable every single minute that I am at work? Probably not. In this scenario, if this was the case, I might even consider working at a different job, even though it means I have a lower income, even though it means that, my wealth building process, this whole strategy won't work so well. I would still do that because there's no point going through all this suffering just for something in the future. So when it comes to spending and saving, I also try to find that balance. So even though, yes, I said, I try to save as much as I can. Whenever I get my annual bonus, I'll try to save a big portion of it because it matters. But I still go on nice holidays, and I still buy the latest iPhone every once in a few years just as a self-reward. I'm not the type of person who can say that, it doesn't matter how much money I earn, my expenses are going to be exactly the same. I have zero lifestyle inflation. I don't think it's realistic. I don't think it's healthy even. I do think that, if you're earning a lot more money, you should definitely go out and enjoy your life more. Get a nicer house, get a bigger car, whatever it is. Just, of course, don't spend all of the extra income, but at least self-reward a bit. Like I said, it's all about finding that balance that's right for you. But yeah, this is the strategy that I've been running ever since I started work, and it's something that I will continue to do for at least the next 10 years because I'm still pretty young. Basically, go as hard as I can in terms of earning money and saving it and investing it so that later on in life, I can just, chill a bit. It will really make a huge difference just because of compounding. Any extra money that we can save today in our 20s is going to be worth so much more than the same amount of money if we saved it 10 years later. Anyway, thanks for watching this video to the end, guys. I hope you guys learned something. Let me know what you guys think about this approach in the comments below. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and give me a huge thumbs up if you liked it. See you guys in the next one. Peace out.